Hey everybody, well, our old buddy Don just made a fucking stupid video. Um, Now, this is what's known as a straw man argument, taking something someone did say, rephrasing it into something that you can then attack. And it's a classic ploy of people that don't have a consistent argument themselves, and of course, that's exactly what Don Harrold doesn't have. So what's going on here? What's this guy talking about? So he's trying to say that science, if you accept a scientific explanation, that it's the equivalent of, a faith, a religious faith, explaining the origins of the universe, or life on this planet, or take it as what you will. And Don is a creationist. He'll say he's not, that he believes in intelligent design. That is creationism. That has, been proven in the Kitzmiller versus Dover court case, and where books on intelligent design in previous drafts, what they did was did a cut and paste, and they screwed it up, and you could see the fact that they had simply created and changed it to intelligently designed, but they made a screw up. And there was proof given at the trial, and that's exactly what it is. It's just creationism rebranded to say intelligently designed, not by a god. They say by an agent that they don't know what this is. So that's where the perspective where this guy's coming from. This guy may have graduated high school. I don't even know, in Louisiana. Not exactly a high standard of education there. So let's go to the crux of it. Science is not a faith, and this remains true. And you can see that a Christian, a notable Christian, once said. This guy, his name's Isaac Newton. He once said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on ye shoulders of giants." And what that means is that science is a process of learning from the past, and mainly the scientific method is the best way we have of determining what is true, what is accurate. And the reason is that it's a process of elimination. We eliminate everything we know that is not true and hold on to only knowledge that is verified as being true. If if that's faith, that's pretty much the opposite of faith. This is a place where you can stand and you can show the evidence of your position. And Professor Hawking's quote in your video does the exact opposite of even what you're saying. He is not saying, in your video, Don, you say they use such forthright terms and say so blatantly and that, this is definitely the truth. Look at exactly what Hawking says here. Because there is such a law as gravity, the universe can and will create itself from nothing. So what it means is they have looked at the data, they have looked at the mathematics and the mechanics, quantum mechanics of it, and they have found a circumstance in which it is not necessary, using the existing laws that we know are true in the universe. We know gravity exists. Using that knowledge, they can then show that it is possible, right, that the universe, that something can come from nothing. And they know that things come from nothing. It has been observed knowledge that protons can come into being from nowhere and then disappear again. This is knowledge. This is known. So let's look at what it is. Spontaneous creation is the reason there is something rather than nothing, why the universe exists, why we exist. It is not necessary. So what he's saying here is, it is not necessary to invoke a god to get the universe going. He's not saying he's saying he believes it's not, but it's not necessary. And if there is a god involved, there certainly has been no evidence shown of how that happened. So basically, what we do know is that it's possible. What we also definitely know is that what it says in the Bible is impossible. What it says in the Bible happened definitely 100% guaranteed did not happen. So, whether you're an old Earth creationist or a young Earth creationist, these are established, observed scientific facts. And, you can still believe in God and say God did it in this way, but the Big Bang, it's observed. And how do we observe it? So when the Big Bang was proposed, there were calculations done, and the person who proposed that said, if I was correct about this, they noticed that all these galaxies are moving away from each other at extraordinary rates. Extrapolate that backwards, and everything would have been on top of itself 13.7 billion years ago, in the one place in space and time. Now, how do they verify this? Well, they said, if this is the case, we should see background microwave radiation. So then you run an experiment. Do we find background microwave radiation? Matter of fact, we do. And it also was consistent with the predictions made. The forces of the strengths of the microwave background radiation were strongest in the places where the theory predicted it would be strongest, and they were weakest in places where it was predicted that they would be weakest. Funny, that should be the case when you're saying there's no evidence to verify any of this. When it comes to evolution, do you want to explain ERVs? If any creationist out there, not just you, Don, can explain endogenous retroviruses without evolution, using the intelligent design theory, please have at it, because there has not been an explanation. They don't try to explain anything. All they try and do is explain how the world fits into their dogma. That's all they're interested in. They're not interested in knowledge at all. Scientists are. That's the difference. And I know, talking to someone who's, from a place that's backwards, with a mindset that's backwards, and thinks he's a smart guy and that he's logical, you're clearly not being. You're being clearly deceptive. You're straw manning a guy who is highly educated, a known genius, has had the best education in the world, and is an educator of others. This man is so highly accomplished. You don't even compare to him on any level. And I think it's quite ironic that religious fundamentalists will go after this guy when they don't know anything except words that were made up by people a couple thousand years ago to explain something that they had no idea, that the Earth was a sphere, even though other cultures at the time did have that knowledge. The ancient Greeks, who established the scientific method, guess what? They did experiments and found out that the Earth was a sphere. They even calculated the size of it to extreme accuracy. Meanwhile, ancient Jews and Christians, no idea any of this stuff's going on. And to even think that they're on the same level, people that believe in talking snakes, people that believe in that the Earth was, that the sun was stopped in the sky so that some ancient people could complete a battle. And there's a great video by a YouTuber called Thunderfoot, I'll link it in here, that explains just why the mere notion of that, and that this is so glossed over, that the sun could stop in the sky for whatever it was, 50 hours or 60 hours or some such thing, to complete this battle. And I'll link it. Please watch it. Don, you think you're smart. This is one of the dumbest videos I've seen, and it's extremely dishonest too, and nothing but a straw man argument. And your point is retarded and invalid. And even if it was the case that accepting science is putting your faith into something, even if it was the case, I'm gonna pick that. I'm gonna pick that over what someone said to a burning bush said to them. So this is a hallucination. Burning bushes don't talk. Snakes have no voice box, so even if, you know, they can't talk. So guess what? Even if you were right and you had a good point, which you don't, I'd still go down that road myself because evidence backs it up. And it's, this is why less than 100 years after powered flight started, human beings were able to travel to the moon, off this planet to a satellite. I mean, that's a phenomenal achievement. And guess what? Religion didn't get us there. It only hindered. Science for the win, yet again. You, Don, for the lose, chump.